Right, the Austin 7 with ginger illness issues. Right, so the front, both front corners are completely rotted out. So I had to take the outer skin off, replace the inner skin, build all there's all chutes in here to take the water out the sunroof trap.
Yeah.
So I rebuilt all of those, put the centre of the skin back in because I've left that hole and cut it there and there, and had to make these sections up. It's not the prettiest repair in the world, but this under here, it's very hard to get under there like that, so when I roll it over or whatever, I'll repair all of that properly.
Yeah.
Cut the slots out so the water comes out properly. This piece under here, had to put that in, that was gone completely. So that's all been replaced, but as with all of these things, the more you get into it, the more you find. So I've cut some of the back out to start having a look at what we've got to do. It's fairly easy repair, it's just a bit in there, a lip return, like that folds around there, that folds underneath there, so it can all be welded. This strong piece of metal looks bent to me. I'm not 100% sure where it goes, so I thought I'll get the door and have a look how the door fits, which in reality isn't too bad. I mean, it goes in the hole, which is a start. Obviously it's too tight.
Yeah.
That's wedged in there, so got to rebuild the hinges. Got a slight taper there, look, but swage lines and overall door gaps are initially not that bad, but having put that on there, trying to work out, you know, what piece of metal goes back in there and blah blah blah, I noticed that we're going to have to put it on the chassis. I mean, it's all good and well being on this bogie, and it's a very nice bogie, but if you're trying to fit doors, you need it on the original situation.
Yeah.
Because the chassis could be like that, you don't know. So you've got to bolt it down to the chassis. If you look in the back of the car, so I've got a pry bar under this post here, yeah?
Yeah.
Now just moving that, say 1/4 of an inch, if you look at the back, see how everything's moving?
Yeah.
So there's no structural strength in it at all. So you could find that when you bolt it to the chassis, I mean, it's moving the inner wheel arch, that's riveted there, but you've got rust here, and so you've got to bolt it down to the original chassis.
Yeah.
And then start strengthening up. I'll probably have to weld all the way up here, get some strength in that across there, you know, that square then, because the more of this you cut out, the weaker and weaker it's getting, because the back panel isn't attached anymore. I took the plates out and all the prop rivets that were holding it all together, and there's nothing holding it at all. You've got to start on the platform that it's going to run on.
Yeah, definitely.
It's alright, it's a lovely trolley, lovely bogie, but you could bolt it and it does that.
Yeah.
You know, then you shim it back up to what you want to find, because once you've got no strength, see that's your main strengthening plate there, it's not even connected, so once you've got to weld that back down and get it all, because if you look there, it's all moving, yeah. So it's get it, because the front isn't bolted to anything, it's just resting on a piece of wood, and the back's only got 2 bits of strips of metal lined over. So get all of that out, bolt it down to the floor, and then we should hopefully be a lot better off with it. We've got a chassis next door if you want to see it.
Yeah, let's go have a look at them. It's tiny, isn't it?
Yeah. So you've got a bolt hole there, a bolt hole there. Those 4 there, I believe, are for the body mount, because what they had, the early ones didn't have those outriggers, and the backs broke off.
Right.
You know, if you've got 2 people sitting in the back of it, and they literally just snapped it off. Bolt hole there, the bolt hole there, and I think that's it. I think that's all that holds the body on.
It's not a lot, is it?
They're lovely though, look. That's the engine mounts. The engine's that long. It's mad, isn't it?
You're tiddly, isn't it?
So he wants us to do the brake, so he brought the brake pedal down, but there's obviously another bracket goes on there to hold the brake pedal somehow.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a ring today, get him to get that. Got all new brake linings to go in it, but the guy who owns it didn't have the puller, to get the hubs off, which I think I've got the right one next door.
What's your first impression of this? Do you think it's level and square?
It doesn't look bad. I haven't run a tape over it, but normally when these are bent, it's like that.
Right.
You can see it. But that looks pretty good. That's dipped a little bit. Yeah, it's got a bow in that one slightly, but so as I say, until you've got it on what it needs to be on, so we can mount it on that, because all you do is you shim the body.
Yeah.
And they suffer really badly, these, with the bonnet line up.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I've looked online, I can't find anything whether it should have blocks of wood. I've no idea. So get that on there today, bolt it all up, and then we'll know where we're at. This is just roughing it out, yeah?
Yeah.
So we know. I always tend to make the panels a lot bigger and then just trim them into size. This is what I do, because that's quite solid. We'll grind that and we'll lay this panel on top. Yeah? Across there and along there. That'll have a folded edge up. We'll make another angle and put that in there, because we'll get the curve on it with the shrinker stretcher. And then we'll bead roll in this. Doesn't have to be exactly right, just puts a bit of strength back in it, you know. Right, that'll be okay, won't it?
So this is to cause like an indent around.
Yeah, it's just to make it's putting strength in a pad.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is. That now, opposed to being a bendy bit of metal, has got some strength in it. Yeah? What you should do, realistically, is put it in a wheeling machine and put that much curve in it the other way round, so that when you roll it, it comes back out flat.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of curving it, but that'll be plenty good enough for what we're doing.
Oh, good, yeah.
Right, let's go and have a look. See that running like that? Coming downhill, look.
Yeah.
You know that's there, but it still needs propping up a bit. Well, just going to fold that.
So that's the original back panel, is it?
Yeah. Okay, so let's put some bend in that.
So what you're trying to do is replicate the profile from the old back panel?
Yeah, roughly. That's probably about it. I reckon that's about it, don't you? Right, let's give it all a grind up and we'll start welding her in. Get another pair of grips. What?
Get a smaller pair.
Yeah. turn it up the other way. I've just got a little bit there to do, some bits missing underneath.
Yeah.
You can't get to it. So. Where I've welded there, and there, and there, and there, when you've rolled it over, in between those, we weld the other side of your overlap. So you have a weld there, or it'll be here, here.
So
here,
opposing
here.
welds.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it for that.
Why do you do opposite welds?
Well, you could butt weld it like I did here, but invariably it just warps it even more than it, because it's bendy and floppy anyway.
Yeah.
So by putting an angle in the back and overlapping the welds there, you can get a fairly flat floor pan, you know.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, you know. You've got to remember, it's, like I say, the obvious thing to do is cut the whole floor pan out and make a nice one piece and slot it in. But you're on time constraints and money constraints, you know. So you've got to kind of do what you can do, you know.